So you type a prompt, the output comes back, and well, it's just not quite right. So what do? You delete the whole thing and try again from scratch? Look, most people do this. I definitely did this, honestly, for way too long. And it totally feels logical, right? The output was wrong, so you just want to start fresh. But here is what's actually happening behind the scenes. You're throwing away 70% of perfectly useful work just because the remaining 30% bothered you. We really need to reframe this. The AI just gave you a starting point to react to. That is not a failure. That is literally just how the process is supposed to work. Think of it like briefing a brand new colleague. You explain the task and they come back with their very first version. It's close, but maybe the tone is a bit off. Are you going to fire them on the spot and hire someone else? Of course not. You'd say, hey, good direction, but the tone isn't quite right. And their second version, it's almost always way better. Well, the AI works the exact same way. Your first prompt is pretty much always a little ambiguous, even if it feels crystal clear to you in your head. The model just fills in those ambiguous gaps with its absolute best guess. Sometimes those guesses are spot on, but often they're not. Remember, that's just the starting point, not the final verdict. A good rule of thumb is to plan for 2 or maybe 3 rounds. The first round gets the general direction right, then the second round fixes the tone and the specific details. And the third round is all about the final polish. If you were sitting at about 70% accuracy after that very first round, you are in really good shape. Okay? So the obvious question here is, how do you actually correct it without losing all that stuff that was already good? Well, here's what most people do. They type, that's not quite right, try again. What happens? The AI just rewrites everything because it has absolutely no idea what you didn't like about it. So it just treats the whole entire output as potentially wrong. Luckily, the fix for this is incredibly simple and it has 3 parts. First, name exactly what is wrong. Second, describe the fix. And third, protect what is already working. So instead of just saying try again, you'd want to say something like, the tone is way too formal. Make it conversational, like I'm explaining this to a coworker. Keep the structure and the examples exactly as they are, but shorten the intro down to just 2 sentences. See the difference? Now the AI knows exactly what to keep. It goes in and only changes the 30% that was actually off, while that golden 70% stays totally intact. The big takeaway here is that the more specific your correction is, the less the AI actually changes. That's the core pattern you want to stick to. Now there is one more technique I really want to show you. And honestly, this is the one that surprised me the most. You actually ask the AI to find flaws in its own answer. Literally type in, review what you just wrote. What's weak, what's missing, what would a skeptic challenge? It is wild to see. It will actually point out gaps that you might not have even noticed yourself. It'll find a hole in the argument or a skipped edge case or point out an example that doesn't actually support the main claim. Then you follow up. You tell it, okay, fix issues 1 and 3, but issue 2 is perfectly fine for this audience, so just leave it. This way, you completely stay in control. The AI does the heavy lifting of finding the problems, but you are the one deciding which ones actually matter. There's a slight catch here though. Do not just blindly accept every single critique it throws at you. Sometimes it'll flag things that aren't actually problems at all. It can definitely overthink style and tone especially. So, just use your best judgment. All right, one last thing for this explainer, and that's constraints. When you tell an AI to write in a casual tone, casual could literally mean 100 different things. Instead of telling it, show the AI what casual looks like to you. Just paste in a paragraph you really like and say, match this exact tone and style. This handles all the sentence length, the word choice, the rhythm, basically all the things that are incredibly hard to describe in words, but super easy to just show by example. And hey, negative instructions work just as well here. Things like no bullet points, no jargon, do not start with in today's fast-paced world. These act as really concrete guardrails for the model. There's zero ambiguity. Think of it like driving. You could try to describe exactly where to drive turn by turn, or you could just put up the barriers and let the driver find the best path themselves. Throwing up those barriers is always going to be way faster. At the end of the day, you have to remember that your very first output is just a draft. React to it, steer it, just please, whatever you do, don't throw it away. So thinking about all of this, what does your correction process actually look like right now?